Well, everybody's heard about the bird. The bird's a winner, well, a bird.
Grown men watch this shit?
A podcast about indie wrestling.
Bird is a winner, well, a bird. Well, a bird is a winner, well, a bird. The bird's a winner, well, a bird. Well, a bird is a winner, well, a bird.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. We are back post-trip from our adventures in New York City for the internationally acclaimed show that is...
Grown men watch this shite?
Yep, we still do after all that madness. And
I'm such a maniac, I actually scheduled my flight home to be in time so I can make it home to watch the post-Mania Raw. That's how sick I am. And then I still have a full weekend of wrestling this weekend, so yeah.
Ben told me about this and I couldn't believe what I was hearing. But commendations, sir. I was quite impressed that you still had that want and need to get more wrestling in. Great stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. So we did record a live show at the Hooters. So we had our one that was like part of the round table discussions with everybody.
Which I have to say I had a fantastic time doing. Thanks, guys. James, Rich, Jeremey, and Josh, thank you for having us.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, me too. It was great to meet everybody, right? Like that kind of face-to-face thing that we don't get to do a whole bunch. It was cool.
Very much so.
Yeah, and so we did that, which if you've listened to, excellent. Well done. Thank you. We appreciate that. We also then recorded a bit of a grown men watch this shit thing after that. And it's safe to say I was a little bit drunk. I don't know. Were you a bit drunk, sir?
I recall vaguely being a bit tipsy. It was a return to drinking for me, so my susceptibility to the alcohol was quite increased. So yeah, I might have been a little bit fucked up.
I believe we started the show after going downstairs outside and having a tasteful amount of the marijuanas. So that was...
Didn't we also, or was this before or after we went to the Tim Burton bar?
I can't even remember. Maybe before? Who knows?
Possibly. That sounds like a thing.
Yeah. Right. So, safe to say, this is kind of one of those proceed at your own peril things, where we wanted to record a little bit of a start to the show that is ourselves in our right mind, in maybe a more listener-friendly version, and then if you just want to go on into that madness, after when we throw to it, please do. But yeah, I wanted to have a little quick thing where we just kind of gave like a look back, because when we were talking, what you'll hear in a couple moments, I was real tired. We'd watched so much wrestling in such a short amount of time. I almost forgot how fun it was,
Oh yeah. I still think it's hilarious how we plan to go to 2 additional shows that we decided to bail on, of course. But yeah, we're going to go to that Black Craft thing potentially, which turned out to be insane. Kind of bummed I missed it, but at the same time, glad I had more energy. But then also, we were going to go see the reunion of Special K, but we were getting home at like 6 in the morning. Saying, are we going to wake up to go to the show at noon? Hell no.
Yeah, I did, was like looking back, I'm like, especially that Blackcraft show, because I heard that was just a sensational shit show. Like one of the worst, best shows that we could ever have seen. But you can't do it all, No. I was happy with what we did, man. So happy. Like, I think we were good to just call it what we did,
Yeah, hell yeah. Actually, I've seen some like gifs of stuff that happened. Like there's somebody saw, hey, is that Jaims Vanderbeek sitting down just as this match is going on? I'm like, there was a gif of me sitting down and automatically smiling for Scott Steiner and Hornswoggle, because as soon as I said that, I was like, I just made it for this. This is the greatest thing in the world. I'm in New York watching Hornswoggle fight Scott Steiner. You should have seen me, dude. I was fucking beaming.
Oh, so was I. I was up on the balcony just like transfixed on this shit. But yeah, that's what I wanted to like talk about today. Like the idea that we went from, I went from Bloodsport in Jersey City over to Queens for MLW, and then all together we jetted it back in an Uber that Ben and I just fell asleep in the back seat of. You were awake, like being a nice gent talking to our driver while our asses are just asleep in the back.
He was blown away by the vaporizer with the weed in it, and he's like, "Oh man, that's crazy!" Like, so how did they make it, man? It's pretty fun to just bullshit with this guy. I'm pretty antisocial normally, but I'm like, fuck it, I'm talking to this guy about weed pens.
I like it. Spreading the good word of weed vape pens to the world. But yeah, when we get to this AIW show, who knows what time of night it was? I can't even remember. But yeah, we walk into a building where Scott Steiner is wrestling Hornswoggle. And didn't we like walk in like when Hornswoggle was just like on his knees, given like the double bird to Steiner?
Yeah, he got up and did the double bird, and then Steiner, I took an awesome picture of Steiner, like, as he's doing the double bird, just lays him out with a huge fucking clothesline. It was amazing. Yeah, that's Steiner the same line. Show where I got hit in the fucking head.
Yeah.
With the freaking board from the door. It was the best.
Was that like
the best
thanks?
Time.
That was during the Nick Gage Mance Warner match, right?
Yes, sir.
Who was responsible for that? Would you give credit to Mance or
I think it was
Nick
Mance because he was. I forget who was swinging the door because I was looking at my phone. Thank God, it was my eyeball. Half of the reason why I kind of want to watch back the shows I went to because I like to see the full angles, and also I was dicking around on my phone sometimes, and even got some tweets from people saying, "Hey, get off your fucking phone! I see you on your phone at the show." I'm like, okay, cool. I gotta stay social.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. Like, how meta is that? We're watching a show there, and we're on camera, and then the people at home who you were tweeting to are telling you to stop tweeting and watch the show.
Yeah. Insanity.
So good. Yeah, I love that. Just Scott Steiner beating the shit out of Hornswoggle. Like, who would have thought that'd just be so entertaining? And he was like full on
wrestling's all about, man.
Girthing him about with the old school Steiner suplexes and belly to bellies and shit. Oh, incredible. Yeah.
And he wasn't like fucking around. He's like, yeah, I'm fucking picking this little midget up and I'm suplexing his ass. Yeah. It was fucking great.
And I was almost at the time, I was like, well, if ever we're going to see those old school Steiner suplexes, I guess it's a bit easier doing it on like a little person, right? But at the same time, from everything I hear about Hornswoggle, that motherfucker is like a bowling ball. He's like so dense in weight to where it's like you think it'd be easy to pick him up, but apparently he's like just due to his short, dense stature.
The weight's proportioned.
Yeah, it's like even harder to do anything. And I've heard he doesn't post for shit as well. So you're lifting that all on your own. So
sandbagging piece of shit.
Props to Big Bad Booty Daddy. Oh, yeah.
Like, Hornswoggle was one of my favorite parts of the whole entire weekend. I think I put that over on the big social suplex show. But yeah, Hornswoggle was awesome. Mm-hmm. Fucking during the spring break, taking the tattooed needles to the dome and then yanking them out. I put him over big on Twitter, and he was nice enough to send me a direct message, like saying, "Hey man, I really appreciate it. I really fucking went all out this weekend. Like, it fucking showed, little buddy."
Yeah, fuck, you're gonna be willing to be beaten up by Scott Steiner and then go on to like do that crazy shit in the clusterfuck with the tattoo needles and shit. All of the props for Hornswoggle, man. So good.
Yeah, I think he even like avoided the power of Joey Ryan's penis and eliminated Joey Ryan's penis power. So it was pretty insane, man. Hornswoggle, big ups, buddy.
Yeah, I think I remember doing a shout out at that moment that Hornswoggle is the kryptonite to Joey Ryan's cock.
Yeah. How's that mean? But who knows? It's awesome.
Man, so good. And then after the Hooters, we decided, we could have got a cab or an Uber or whatever, but we decided, fuck it, we're just gonna walk. We're just gonna walk back.
How many blocks did that end up being?
It was a lot. It was like I want to say like a 5-kilometer walk, maybe. Which
that was what's that in American?
Do you just double it, maybe?
I don't fucking know.
I want to say like a 2-mile walk at least.
Okay, that's not bad.
Yeah, not bad, not bad. Took us like what, an hour and a bit or something.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was going to be that long, but more was about like, hey, let's experience more of the city and just check things out and kind of just bullshit and enjoy the sights. It was fun meandering.
Thanks to me, I think we had to meander around Madison Square Garden twice trying to find the actual facade because I thought it was a different bit to what it was.
It looks different. It looks hella different in Chris's mind, but no.
We got a nice 360-degree view. It was pretty good. I enjoyed it.
I've seen more of Madison Square Garden than one man needs to see in a lifetime. I'll tell you that. No. And then one of the best parts is we were fucking walking home and to the B&B. And we're fucking at Central Park. Let's walk here through here a little bit.
Why would you not walk through Central Park in the early hours of the morning? Why would you not?
It didn't appear like we were not allowed. And we start walking in here, and all of a sudden, the fuzz. Yep, the cops were on us. They ejected us from the fucking Central Park. So not only have we visited Central Park, we got kicked out of that motherfucker.
It was quite intimidating as well, because we're just like walking along that path, and then we just hear these sirens behind us. There's this flashing and shit, and then more, like, it wasn't just two cops come up and, hey guys, come on, leave the park. They were like in this car, and they're on like a loudspeaker of like, gentlemen, the park is closed. Please depart the park.
Yeah, we definitely weren't sober, so yeah, definitely was a little bit startling at first.
Yeah, a little bit. Full experience. So good. We didn't talk. Did we really talk about Bloodsport either? I enjoyed the shit out of that.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to see it. Remember?
Yeah. We'll have to. I'll get the replay or something, and you can watch it later because I loved that show, man. I loved it. So good.
Dude, I watched them. I saw a couple of awesome gifs that of Hideki doing some Billy Robinson style shit because somebody had paired it with Billy Robinson doing the moves himself. It was amazing and was seamless how similar they are, but Hideki definitely laying it in a little bit better at this point, anyway.
I mean, I've been a big fan of Billy Robinson for a long time, and I was actually going back and watching a whole bunch of his AWA stuff recently, and his sweet matches with Vern and all that. And
that's one of the ones I was watching clips of.
Yeah, and then on this show, I think it was like the finish or the move before the finish of the match with Timothy Thatcher and Hideki Suzuki, and he does that exact same like Billy Robinson style backbreaker, and I just in that moment I was just like, that is Billy Robinson shit right there, because I know how much of a big influence, at least like on his Facebook, how much Hideki Suzuki is constantly like pushing the Billy Robinson stuff. So that was really cool.
I guess did they train with him? Because it's as far as I was reading, he was a student, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure
awesome.
Specifically, but I think I have heard he was like the last protege of Billy Robinson.
That's something to hang your hat on.
Yeah, definitely. Between like him, Josh Barnett, and Davey Boy Smith Jr., like all those dudes had such an awesome weekend. I actually went past Davey Boy on the flight out of New York when we were like going through security. Yeah. And man, that JFK security was pretty intense. Hey, like it was just so busy and so many lines, and we got there way early, so that was good. So it wasn't any stress, but there were a lot of people that were very stressed. But yeah, we just saw like Davey Boy, and he's just like dressed up like to the nines, like in his Teddy Hart style gear and everything, and
shit,
so good. I think he had like his like necklace chain thing on as well. I was just like, this is great. And yeah, just like we sort of crossed paths when we're going through security, and it's like, yo, Davey, awesome match at Bloodsport. And I happened to be wearing the Bloodsport shirt at that time, and I like forgot about it. And he like gave me a little nod. He's like, "Thank you, nice shirt." And then he just continues on about his day.
Dude, one thing I hate to do, but I also like kind of doing because it's a weird reaction, is telling people who the fuck I am on Twitter who have never actually seen my face, especially the wrestlers that follow me and find me entertaining. So the Davey Boy was one. And then Mance Warner, and then one of the big ones was Sawyer Fulton, Mad Mads Fulton. He was in this conversation with this weird guy who I actually was stuck in a conversation at one point for a really long time. he mentioned how he saved some wrestler's life during a match by moving some glass tubes.
Oh.
But anyway, oh yeah. But he was having a conversation with Sawyer, and then Sawyer looked over and saw me, doesn't know who I am, but then commented on the shirt I was wearing, and then started commenting on my fanny pack, clearly trying to engage in a conversation with me and to stop talking to the other guy. And then I'm like, hey, I'm such and such. He's like, holy shit, dude, here's a shirt. And I'm like, hey, man, that was a really awkward conversation you just got out. He's like, yeah, that was very much so indeed. So he saved his life as far as the conversation is concerned, much like the gentleman saved with glass tubes. But yeah, it was awesome to see Sawyer. He was unfortunate, got hamstrung by an injury. He was part of Sanity when it first debuted, and I guess that would have not shaken out very well for him in the long run. Now that I think about it, but
I didn't even know that. I only knew him from the MLW stuff with Sammy.
Yeah, he was on NXT for a while, paired up with a couple different things. But yeah, he was before Killian Dane was in the group. It was Sawyer Fulton, and then Sawyer got injured, and then they just slotted Killian up in there.
Right. Huh. Interesting stuff.
But yeah, putting over the Twitter gimmick, simultaneously lame, but when it pops people who I respect like wrestlers, it's always pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, we all had a whole bunch of awesome conversations, and I wish I got to catch up with more people.
Agreed.
That were there, but you just can't. But I think my favorite part in all of this weekend is just getting to experience this mania of all of these shows with good friends. It's the company that makes these things. So I wanted to make sure I gave a special warm fuzzy thank you to you, my friend, for us being able to share this weekend together.
Oh, you as well, sir. It was great to see you. Great to see all of my mates from down under. Yeah, you got to talk.
You're getting a bit of a crew now.
Yeah, my Australian mates. We were just hanging out with the wallabies. But no, I adore your lady friend Courtney. Her realness and no bullshit attitude is awesome and refreshing. And then Jackie was great, but I really liked your cousin Ben. Ben and I got along famously.
Yeah,
he's a good fuck.
That was awesome.
Did you tell him?
Yeah, I sent him a screen cap with a message.
That's so ridiculous.
So for our listeners at home, we were reminiscing about our weekend away, and yeah, you sent me a message about Ben. What was it exactly?
I believe I said I like your cousin. I think he's a good fuck, but that's only because I call people fucks or fuckos.
He's a good fuck. I dig him.
Yeah. And then as soon as I typed it out, I go, "Oh, that sounded horrible. Oh, why did I say that?" It's like immediately phrasing.
Yeah, right. The Archer
Your Archer
thing.
fans. Yeah.
So good. Yeah, straight away I was I laughed, and then I showed it to Courtney, and she just this look of oh, I can see what he intended there, but definitely came out maybe a little bit different. And she's like, you have to send that to Ben. Please send that to Ben immediately.
Yes, I was hoping you would, because it's ridiculous. It had to be shared.
Yeah. Ben appreciated it as well. He exchanged the. He was like, I really like Jeremey. Confirmed, good dude.
Good.
Yeah. I wanted to also, getting towards the end of this before we throw to our live drunk selves, how funny was it in hindsight? So I've been to 2 of these Pancakes and Piledrivers now.
Oh, God.
Last year's and this year's. So the first one...
What a gimmick.
The Piledrivers were banned. So we got the Pancakes, but no Piledrivers. And then this year...
what a story. Oh, God. All right, go on.
And then this year, thanks to the awesome Hilton, the Pancakes are banned, but we get the Piledrivers. So I think it needs to be renamed Pancakes or Piledrivers at this point.
One or the other. You get a liberal amount of one or the other. Yeah, then the no syrup gimmick the year before. Also, there was no booze during Pancakes and Piledrivers. I'm not sure why the bar got closed for that.
I mean, when I need I think a margarita at that point, or a Bloody Mary would have been quite appropriate to start the day. Yeah, but no. I told you about my gimmick of me actually buying the syrup this time, didn't I?
Oh, yeah, because you told me you were setting it up just in case.
Yeah, because I knew last year they banned it, so I was like, I'm going to show these fucks. I'm going to bring my own syrup this time. I go to this grocer on the way in. this fucking only syrup they had cost me like $20. Like organic syrup, organic Canadian proper maple syrup. The checkout lady was like, "You sure you want to buy this?" Like she actually confirmed with me.
That is amazing.
I'm like, "Yes,
The
I
yes,
do."
ma'am.
And then
Indeed.
I get there, and then you can imagine my disappointment when I have this fucking $20 bottle of maple syrup, and there's no pancakes to put it
I'm
on.
so glad I'm just hearing about this particular part of the story on the show. That is fucking fantastic. That is the syrup on the cakes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thankfully, I was able to go back to the grocer with my tail between my legs and return it. And
What?
yeah, so I got my money back.
The story has been topped.
I returned a bottle of maple
It was the same person.
Yeah, and she like laughed
my
at me. She was like, "So you decided it wasn't worth it?"
That is so awesome. Holy shit, I can't. We cannot. And nothing funnier is going to happen in this beginning. Let's throw to us.
Yeah, let's just, guys, tune out. Don't even bother listening to the next part. Just like, cut it. This is the end of the show.
Podcast will be funny, but that was fucking fantastic. I just imagine being this lady in New York City where this Australian guy walks into your little bodega or whatever, and fucking, hey, mate, do you have any syrup? And they're like, yeah, down that aisle. And he's like, oh, it's fucking $20. Shit, it's quite pricey. I guess I'll buy it anyway. Is it worth it? Yes. Yeah. I'm eating these fucking pancakes. So then you show back up sheepishly like, yeah. I don't need the pancake syrup after all.
This is like straight up out of Flight of the Conchords, right?
It's like a fucking. It's so funny. It's like a situation. Jerry Seinfeld, fucking Larry David could not write a funnier moment, especially because you're Australian and just a topper. Like, why did this fucking guy need Canadian syrup? And God damn it, I love you.
Thanks, man.
Oh, that's a beautiful story.
Yep, there we go. So I'm glad we got to have this little preamble, I'd say. And yeah, if you guys want to, are brave enough to continue on to the beep 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 beep.
Oh shit!
Whoa!
Oh shit!
Oh my! How could we have forgotten? David Arquette Watch 2019.
Oh yeah!
Woo! Now David Arquette was quite the busy man during this weekend. Sadly, we didn't get to see his match because we were at the spring break and he was at the penis party. He wrestled Thatcher, I believe, and he was accompanied to the ring by fucking none other than Diamond Dallas Page.
Do you see today? He also commented on my picture, telling me how badass I looked.
Ooh, man, that is a badge of honor right there.
If you had told teenage me that one day David Arquette would go onto my Instagram and tell me I look badass, I would say, why are you using time travel to tell me this bullshit? This is fucking stupid. And then I was like, that's pretty cool.
Heck yeah. Oh, man.
That's pretty dope. Yeah, that's a bummer we didn't get to see it, but the penis party was stacked. It was packed with penis. There was some ass-to-ass action. It looked pretty outrageous. There was like a human centipede of cunnilingus and cocksucking. It was pretty outrageous.
Wow. Oh, my.
Yeah. Whew.
That sounds like it. Did you hear anything else like from the actual show or anything about the match or anything like that?
No, man. I was too... For one thing, I was too fucked up and hungover from wrestling to go back and try to recap every show I did not see. Like, yeah, I'm sick, but not that sick.
Yeah, agreed. I understand that.
But their pizza party was posted on YouTube, and
was there pizza?
I haven't watched it yet, but the whole pizza party's up there. So if anybody wants to watch it, you can watch Macabre and Yay High. But yeah, I'm watching that fucker. Hopefully there's pizza. That'd be cool.
I hope so. Also, coming up, I was so excited about this announcement at an upcoming Championship Wrestling from Hollywood event, Coastline Clash. In addition to getting to see LA Park, Willie Mack, Joey Ryan, MJF, a cast of other characters. It's going to be David Arquette versus Pretty Peter Avalon.
Beautiful. I
Holy
love
shit!
Peter.
That'll be a great match. Peter's great. He actually had a hand in training David Arquette, right?
Yes, sir. When he helping him get back into ring shape, man. You got to knock off that ring rust sometimes, and Peter helped him out. Hey, also, I know we're trying to get out of here, but I wanted to touch base and get your reactions to GCW and Kenta.
Oh man, how fucking batshit crazy is that? So now it's for the Tournament of Survival as a special guest appearance. I'm not sure whether he'll actually be wrestling on the show, but Kenta is going to be there. What?
Yeah, banana.
GCW just keeps bringing the magic.
One thing I wanted to touch base on before we get out of here is, and probably be covered in a future episode, is my buddy Rob is putting together a documentary and he did a lot of footage during said WrestleMania week and all the activities on the independent scene. His documentary called The Declaration of Independent Wrestling. I believe that was the title. And it looks pretty fucking awesome. So we might have him on a future show to talk about his documentary as well. So look forward to that.
Yeah, definitely. Is that like a throwback to, I remember back in the day, there was like a website that would cover like Jersey All Pro and ROH and those sort of East Coast indies, like way back when, to early 2000s. And I remember it was like declarationofindependence.net or something like that.
And I imagine that's actually at one point in time when me and Farmer were going to rebrand Indy'Rific because we thought the name was, Indy'Rific. We were going to call the show The Declaration of Independence. So I think it's just one of those common things that people all came to and they go, that sounds fucking awesome. And who knows if they actually know that somebody else did it already. But yeah, Rob's documentary, I just watched the trailer. I don't know if you watched it yet, but it looks really fucking cool.
Nice. I have not watched it yet, but I look forward to it. Yeah, it'd be really fun to have Rob on to talk all about it. All right. Well, without any further ado, again, pursue at your own peril to drunk and stoned Jeremy and Chris in a cast of characters.
And John's with us.
Josh was there as well. He jumped in there for a bit. Yep. Yeah. And all of the rambling thoughts while we were at the tail end of our Mania journey. So have fun, guys. Enjoy. Thanks for listening, and I'll throw over to Drunk Us. All right.
I might actually have to listen to that one.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, we've started doing that, right? So, welcome to international Northeast American live podcast recorded edition in a Hooters, the original Hooters.
The original.
Yes, but welcome to that show, which is
Grown Men Watch This Shit.
We do, and we've watched a lot of this shit in this last week.
Probably more than I have in the last month prior, honestly.
I'd say as well. So it has been a long time, an arduous time. We haven't had much sleep. I think any more days of this, I'm going to end up quite sick. I probably will still. But I wanted to catch up with you guys, you friends out there, you people that are putting us into your earbuds. We appreciate that very muchly, especially the few of you that may be coming from New Jersey and Brooklyn, where I've been in this last week.
We feel your pain, how it is to travel within the New York, New Jersey metro area. And
it's definitely hard.
I do not empathize or sympathize at all. It sucks. I can't even understand it. Why are you doing this to yourself?
It's your own fault. But I wanted to put over these couple of people that I actually met in person this week. I mean, we were right there and all amongst it. But to me, it was the people, the non-wrestling fans, the people out there that are like, what, that WWE stuff? You're the people that I want to be appealing to on this show.
And you know what, actually, I want to put over someone we just literally met no more than 15, 20 minutes ago.
You stole my thunder, man. I recorded that in my mind.
That's the guy you want to spoke of? Excellent. All right.
You do it.
Our dear friend that we just met, we're sitting out, hanging out, maybe doing a little puff of medical or recreational recreational marijuana.
Would you say a pre-show puff, sir?
A pre-show puff, beautiful. With our good buddy John Kraft, by the way. Say hello, John.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Roving Mexican reporter who is not actually Mexican.
Just to clarify, so we're outside enjoying our good smoke, and a young man walked up and started complimenting us in the most unusual way. He called me Andre the Giant. He called Chris, the Australian gentleman, he called him Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
USA! USA! USA!
And eventually, what did he come together for you, John?
Bob Backlund.
Bob
He
Backlund.
struggled with that.
And let me just say, I was embarrassed. I was a little bit ticked off because if I'm Hacksaw Jim Duggan, this guy is Bob Backlund.
But hey,
Shit, I guess John's got the babyface good looks going about him, right?
Or maybe he just thought he was a crazy white man that might attack us all and put us in the chicken wing.
I don't own any suspicion.
President Bob Backlund.
Yes, indeed. By the way, did you see that video of Bob Backlund do a headstand this weekend at WrestleCon?
I did not, but I'm not surprised by it in the least.
It's fucking amazing. So yeah, we met one young Anthony. Not really young, I'm just saying young. But he seemed to be a nice young man. He wanted to get a little bit of money
Jeremy?
from us. Yes.
I'm really appreciative that you took this plug from me because I was about to introduce this guy as Franklin.
Yeah, his name's Anthony.
Yeah, so I would have embarrassed myself pretty hard, but you took that bullet for me, man, and you got the name right, Anthony. Thank you for the correction before I even fucked it up. I
No
appreciate it.
problem. So Anthony was nice enough to come and give these compliments. Yeah. And when he was done complimenting, we were more than nice enough to offer him the end of a roach that we're hanging out and smoking with another man by the name of Jose. And I threw him a little bit of money.
Remembering, I wanted to remember his name, but I forgot.
Yeah, you know, I assumed that I would not, being I was imbibing both beer and booze and marijuana. So, surprised.
Yeah.
But yeah, friendly people out on the streets of New York stopping by to say hello to the Grown Man Watch This Shit team.
It is an amazing time. It's an amazing place. For the people that think of New York City as a place of rude folks, a place of folks who just want to get about their business and they don't care about you, that's a lie. The people of New York City and New Jersey have been nothing but delightful while I've been here, so I wanted to put that over real hard. But special shout outs. I want to make sure I acknowledge there's some really rad dive bars in New Jersey. Do you know of this? John? There was a really rad dive bar that we went to in New Jersey the other night. Do you
Yeah,
recall?
I think I helped us go to that.
You did?
Yeah, I think I was there. That was a really good time. We had a never-ending game of darts that we called off. We've been running the table for 2 hours on a single game.
It was pretty
Great.
good.
We met some really cool people. They were decent drink specials. They had a little bit larger pours than New York City. That was great. I think that we just found a lot of odds and ends spots. We're gonna go to a couple tomorrow as well.
I'd hope so. So, especially of this amazing New Jersey dive bar, we started playing darts. It was a fun game. It was a good time. I had some delicious beers at quite cost-effective prices, which I'm always appreciative of. And I also inquired about the darts board we later play at. And I met some dudes, some nice dudes, some great dudes that are just New Jerseyites. They used to maybe watch WWE in the day. They don't know anything about it these days. And then we just had a lovely little chat about the wrestling, especially about the indie wrestling, you know? The type of indie wrestling that we've been to many shows over this past weekend. Very happy to do so. But yeah, these dudes, we were just broing out. You know, they don't know nothing about wrestling, but we were talking. They said they were going to actually listen to this podcast. They were going to listen to this particular podcast to listen to see if I actually say this.
That's awesome. You better follow up. You got these names?
I better do. I'd feel pretty bad if I went this far and I forgot the names, which, 9 times out of 10 I would. That's why I actually have my phone open right now. I can look at a previous note that I've entered in here. So I wanted to make sure to say what's up to Lucky 7 Badass Darts players, Christian and Fred. You guys were rad. But Christian was definitely the better player of the two. Just want to say that if you actually listen to this, I'll be quite excited on the inside. If you don't, I'll be happy regardless.
Excellent. Jonathan, so you were one of the leading headways of making sure this trip actually happened. You took time to book an Airbnb for you and I that you later forgot that I was involved in, and booked other people in the seats. But
That may have been recorded on this podcast.
it all panned out in the long run. But what did you think? I gotta bust your balls. Apologies.
Well, to all of our
Your
listeners,
weekend.
it was very inconclusive about the plans, and I gave everybody a deadline on when I booked. But
I told you that
that's
night I
for
was
another
in.
podcast.
This guy. All right, he's off the show.
Love it, investigating.
So John has said some shit that's untrue. No, really, what do you think your thoughts of the weekend, sir?
First off, loved our Airbnb. That's great. The great location's really good. Kind of close to the subway line, good spots in between. So I thought that was great. The wrestling, I thought it was a lot of fun. I do think that I have seen better matches or more of high quality matches on other weeks in the past. But having said that, New York's a lot of fun. Traveling around, seeing my buddies, we've had great times. We had really good experiences. I went to 2 spring breaks. Most people don't even get to go to 1. I went to 2. And that was really good. I saw some just incredible things that we'll allude to with that show. That I mean, like having that is what made this weekend be something very, very special.
Brother, we got to see the Rock and Roll Express and LAX take out each other. That's amazing. And to watch the respect that Ortiz and Santana had for Robert and Ricky was pretty tremendous. And then the tears that legitimately came out of these guys' face when Ricky and Robert gave them bandanas. It's something like that. When you're a fan of wrestling, you get to come to that point. That took like literally about 40 years of wrestling for that moment to happen. That's fucking tremendous.
That was really cool. And, being from Tennessee, obviously I like the Rock and Roll Express. Ricky has a training school out there a few hours from my hometown. So, that was really cool to see because it's kind of the style that, I kind of grew up on. So that was a lot of fun. It's been a really, really fun trip. Like I said, I haven't seen as many 5-star match of the year, candidates that I've seen in the past of a WrestleMania week. But maybe this is just a different experience. This has been a party. It's been a great time.
What was your show of the weekend so far?
Janela Spring Break Part 1.
Part 1? That was pretty tremendous. The death match, was that your first death match you ever saw live? Or you been to death matches before?
First death match of like that, level that was running at. I mean, I've seen definitely some hardcore matches, and I've definitely seen some, color.
But no weed
as they
whacker
say.
shit.
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen a GCW show live. I've never seen a CZW show that was like a weapons heavy show live or anything like that. So this was definitely the first on that level that I'd seen.
So this is the
I thought it was great.
Takeda versus Jimmy Lloyd deathmatch. Is that what we're talking about?
Night 1.
I want to make special mention of this. This was awesome. This was after me watching a lot of deathmatch wrestling over the years. This is like the first proper one I'd want to be there in person for. And let me just say, we've talked a little bit about deathmatch wrestling on this podcast, but to me, to be there in person for those light tube hits, to be there to actually be scared for your own health.
Just making that noise.
Be scared for your own health when there is a light tube thing, so you have to actually cover your face for fear of your eyeballs being.
I got hit with a light tube shard on night 2.
Oh, actually, dude, I forgot to mention this. During AIW, I got hit with a fucking piece of table. I was, of course,
got busted open.
I was dicking around on my phone, as I do. Had I not been watching the match, or had I been watching the match directly in the eyeball, no kidding.
Yeah, I can attest to that. But I mean, just being there for this, it's fucking dumb, but you love it, So I totally get deathmatch wrestling on a different level after actually being there for that.
Yeah.
And Takeda and Jimmy Lloyd was actually nuts.
Yeah.
I didn't feel it went ages, but it was awesome for the time that they were there.
And the color that Jimmy managed to get in such a short period of time, he was, as they say, a proverbial crimson mask.
Guys, it was so bad that there was a woman around me who allegedly had not really been drinking all that much, nothing unreasonable, and she fainted twice in 3 minutes. I've been known to faint myself. I actually had stitches a few weeks ago. I don't know if you guys noticed the scar.
Yeah.
And it's happened a couple times randomly in my life, and nobody can really figure out what. So I was, enjoying the match, and all of a sudden this happened, and my friend tapped me and said, "John, she fainted. Do something you can." And I was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do, but yeah, sure.
Why does he think
And then
you're responsible for
I think from what her husband or guy or whatever was saying, it was like blood thing. She saw a bunch of blood and she fainted twice.
Right.
So
That would do it, because there was a lot of blood.
yeah, she apparently wasn't that drunk. Just saw some violence. And even some of the friends that I was with, man, they didn't know anything.
I love that. I love that people have gone to this show.
Oh, AJ got over. Oh, sorry. Live. We're watching the show, the WrestleMania as we speak, and the match that I was really excited about, it just ended, and AJ went over. I am actually not surprised. Chase Owens.
You're really excited?
I'm excited.
You did not watch this match at all. You were like doing this podcast and fucking around.
I'm excited that it actually ended the way I expected. That's all I'm saying. Hey, Chase Owens, the guy that designed shirts for us over there. I'm going to say hi.
Nice. Yeah, so AJ is the winner. I don't care about that. Mainly this match, this death match, right? Like, it was crazy. Jimmy Lloyd bled a lot. Takeda is just a legend of that style, so we've talked about how great he is before.
At the end of the match, they both saluted each other by bashing light tubes over their own heads.
Yeah, and it was amazing. And I was just like, in that moment, I was like, yeah, this shit is legit. So props to that, props to GCW, props to the other half of Spring Break. I mean, the whole thing was awesome. Great times. I mean,
I want to talk about something with Night 1.
what happened night one? What's up?
The legless man. I want to talk about two things. So, one, the legless man. Joey Janela, per wacky style, brings out. Basically, there's a wrestler in the crowd disguised as somebody in the crowd or whatever. And I think he was in a wheelchair. I couldn't quite see it. Altercation starts. He gets in the ring, a la Marco stunt, and just goes to work. And this match breaks out, and I mean, it's very, very talented, very, very unique stuff. Handled very, very professionally. It was a great match. And the second thing,
You just put that over like so formally.
well, it was like you're expecting this drunk ass GCW crowd to, I don't know, maybe yell something stupid. And everybody was just blown away. Like,
No, but that was the whole thing, because like that's your takeaway will be these GCW fans, while they
they're great.
they are meth addicted fucking crackheads.
No,
they're
everybody's so
good
nice,
people
man.
at the same
Everybody was
time.
so nice.
I want to make sure to mention how special the GCW fans are. But the best part was how torn they felt for when he introduced himself like briefly, right? He introduced himself. I don't think we had all heard it. I heard Dustin. Someone else I was talking to said Roland.
I believe it's Dustin.
Dustin?
What guy?
No legs
The
man.
legless. Dustin.
I only heard no legs, and the no legs guy did a fucking handstand 450 splash off the top rope, so I respect the shit out of that guy.
And springboards and all sorts of wild shit.
619.
He's a maniac.
619. Yeah, he got over in one night. I'm assuming he is now the new Marco Stunt.
By the way,
and
thank you,
Jungle Boy.
Tony Deppen.
Yes, fuck yeah. Props to Tony. Like, who could like be such a fucking dickhead, but such a great dickhead at the same time as Tony Deppen?
Yeah, like normally that's a situation where no one gets over because it's a man beating up a man with no legs. But because of how great of a heel Tony was and how actually incredibly athletic No Legs was, that shit got over big. And it was a huge pop on night 2 of Spring Break when No Legs walked in. Or I guess shambled. I'm gonna, you know what? Before I embarrass myself, I'm gonna stop now.
I wanted to make sure to mention the weirdness of the moment when the fans who couldn't necessarily quite remember his name, he may be Dustin, he may be Bocklund, he may be Desmond, I don't know, but that moment when he came out and he just started breaking out this crazy ass shit, and the crowd was like, let's go No Legs. Let's go No Legs.
That's great.
Let's go No Legs. And I was quite torn, let me tell you, people at home. I listened to it. I giggled. You know that naughty giggle that you get? That little like, ooh, this is wrong to laugh at. That kind of shit.
Yeah.
And I had it. I couldn't contain myself. And I was like, fucking, all right, let's go with this. Let's go No Legs. And then I felt bad. I felt bad on the second one. I felt guilty. I felt like I'm, somehow persecuting our handicapable friends. But on the third chant of let's go No Legs, I decided that it was an affirmational chant. It was a chant that is to the power of people who are handy capable and are just kicking their ass every day, you know?
By no means were we mocking him for no legs. We were simply viewing and saying, yes, this man has no legs, and that does not matter. No legs, amazing talent.
Let's go.
No
legs. Amazing.
Tremendous.
So good, so good. How much crazy shit did we already see at that point in the night?
Well, including AIW and then that, it was a weekend of insanity. Like, that's the kind of wrestling I want to watch. I want to see shit like, what the fuck did I just witness?
Well, I also want to take this segue to really shout out to Bryce Remsburg. One of my favorite things that happened this weekend was
the Invisible Men match.
Invisible stand. So clearly, the only thing going on is the story that Bryce is crafting, and he like you could buy in so easily. It was so easy. I was in the pit, and one of them got thrown off the balcony by the other. Bryce reacts. There's 6 referees below that are all sitting next to me, ready to catch him. And they all fall to the ground. They take down all of us. Beer goes everywhere. Like, we all just collapse. And everybody was just all in. It was fantastic. It was the most creative thing. It was done well. You know, it's not just like, oh, that was wacky. It was like a wacky idea that I feel like was executed perfectly. What do you think, Jeremy?
100%. And honestly, the capper of the whole match is they actually were managed to figure out a spot where the Invisible Men broke a door that was set up in the corner. So clearly it was gimmicks because it's wrestling. There's not really invisible men, guys. I'm starting to break it to you. Ronda Rousey ain't up in this bitch. But yeah, really, these guys managed to pull off a no-man table break corner spot, and what a capper to a match, which included Bad Boy Vision, where Joey Janela's glasses were adorned by Bryce Remsburg, so he can actually witness the action that was going on. I saw Bryce after the show, after that match, he was enjoying himself with an adult beverage, a nice beer, and no more deserved than Bryce Remsburg.
Hopefully somebody bought that for him. That was excellent.
There's so many good matches in the world, but these guys, Bryce Remsburg is a step above even the great and good referees that are out in the indie world. Oh, we got Ricochet coming out here. Again, we're here at the first Hooters in New York City, across from Madison Square Garden, watching WrestleMania. Guys from the Social Suplex, we did a little bit of thing earlier with them, which you definitely should take a listen to. A lot of fun. But yeah, Ricochet's coming out wearing his Tanahashi throwback and tribute gear. What do you think about him doing tribute to the Ace there, John?
It makes you wonder if Vince knew about it.
Oh, he put it out ahead of time.
Yeah. It looks great.
Yeah, it looks great.
It's great. It's obviously very respectful, and if it actually did get approved by anybody, I think that speaks even louder.
Oh, Tanahashi's amazing. It's fantastic. Our faceless leader, Chris, has walked away from here and has left us alone. And now John is also going to be stepping away. So I'm here by myself. So I'm going to ask Josh, the young boy from Social Suplex and Keeping Strong Style, to join us here. So you're on Grown Man Pod, buddy.
Oh, we're live right now?
We're not necessarily live, but yeah, live per se. We like to pull the curtain back here at Grown Men. We're recording this at the same time the last show at Social Suplex, the Roundtable, was recorded. So I want to see your opinion so far of this WrestleMania we're watching.
Oh, well, the reality is that this is the least invested I've ever been in a WrestleMania in my entire life.
I couldn't agree more, brother.
Normally, no matter what happens, I get excited for WrestleMania. You know, me and my buddies, we're all going to get together. There's been none of that. Like, I don't even know what most of the matches are on the card. Like, it's in the back. This is background noise for me tonight. Like, that's pretty...
As it literally is on this podcast.
Isn't that sad to say? Like, honestly, the only match on this card that has any build whatsoever that's legitimate is the Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch feud, but then
Kofi and Bryan.
Oh, yeah, you know what? But that's only the last couple months. I meant... But yeah, you're right. Yeah, we can't. That's actually. I'm marginally and actually. I would love to see Kofi pull this title win out. Yeah, it's one of those things where it almost seems like they're just giving it to him to give it to him, but I don't give a fuck. Kofi Kingston has been working so hard the last 10 years. If we end up with a Daniel Bryan title win, Chris, would you feel this was the right way to go, or you, again, as most what we do. Don't care either way, and we'll continue watching wrestling.
I don't care if either way on that one, really. I mean, it'd be nice for Kofi, and I think it'd be a great feel-good moment, but it depends what they're doing on the rest of the show kind of thing. So if that's like really the only feel-good moment, then fucking do that one.
If you don't feel it's like a consolation prize for a guy who's been working for 10 years so strong?
Well, that's a weird thing. It's almost like the matchmaking equivalent of that bullshit "you deserve it" chant. I think that fucking sucks so hard, man. Like, it's some bullshit. You know, it's like so disingenuous too. It's like, so he was like, "You deserve it." Oh,
One guy says it, they're like, oh, you know what? Maybe they do deserve it. I'll go along. I honestly, no one deserves necessarily anything in wrestling. You think your career is your career. If your career is awesome, winning a title doesn't necessarily establish or legitimize that, right?
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Like, was anybody questioning whether or not Kelsey was awesome if he doesn't walk away with a WWE title at some point? Josh, your opinion?
Yeah, I agree with that entirely. I think in this generation and this day and age of wrestling, people just like to chant shit because they just care about getting themselves over. You know, they're not invested in what is really happening. Like, you know, and I get it, you know, there's different crowds, but like, you know, I was at the WrestleCon Super Show, and like every time someone was on the ground, they're like, "Suck his dick," and I'm like,
that was a chant that was through all of the events at the fucking Hilton Ballroom. It was.
I love the idea that there's basically alternating chants between "you deserve it," "suck his dick," "best match ever," fucking. This is awesome.
Josh has raised a very good point. It is at this point where wrestling fans love the sound of their own fucking voice.
Bullshit.
yeah, and you know, sometimes it's like when wrestling is really, really good, you want to have people reacting to it, but you know,
Not formulaically.
yeah.
It's not like everyone should be like, all right, this is the point where you say this. This is the point where you say this. It's
Right. I think a lot of times the fans think that they are the show or part of the show, and they miss out on the point that like what's happening is the show.
genuine reaction.
Well, you know what? The first time I ever heard "Fight Forever" was during that.
NXT takeover.
Yeah. Did that originate there?
I honestly, I can't say for sure, but I had never heard it before. And it's at this point where people even say it ironically, where it
Right.
totally cheapens the original nature of it.
Yeah, when it happened, it felt like literally such a monumental moment. Like I got goosebumps watching it, and I agreed because I was like, dude, I really do want to see these guys fight forever.
Yes.
Now, anytime two guys get to like the end point, you know the finish is about to come, and the match is just marginally good, people start chanting "Fight Forever," and you're like, why?
It's typically during the fucking forearm smash spots, like where everyone's like, one. All right, who's gonna get three? And the first person gets three, and the next guy gets three, and they keep doing the three, and eventually everyone's just like, fight forever. I'm like, can you be more cliche, friends?
I like more of a specific approach rather than a fight forever. Maybe we should have fight for a slightly extended 40 more seconds than what you
we're
originally
trying-
allocated.
We have a show we're trying to get to in New Jersey, so fight until we can get to that safely and in time.
Okay, thanks. We're doing lots of things here. We're multitasking. So, I mean that. And then, what was next?
Honestly, Chris, I think we've got about 27 minutes of podcast in the can. We had Josh on, we had John on. You want to try to watch a little bit of this WrestleMania?
I bet. Okay.
I'm happy for Ricochet and Aleister Black that they're on WrestleMania main card.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
They're fighting the bar.
Well,
like,
actually,
I'm really
that is
happy.
a good
That makes me
sentiment,
happy.
because let's talk about that, actually. We got Ricochet and Aleister Black, who are formerly from PWG fame, where the majority of this podcast, and outside of the other Josh on the show, we all met there, essentially, PWG. So what do you think of this escalation of their careers from PWG faithful to NXT, and now this is literally their first foray to be permanently on the main roster. They said farewell to NXT previously. Do you think this is a good step for both these individuals, or Chris, do you think it's going to be the same old thing where they're misused on this NXT roster?
No, at the moment it's probably good for them. I mean, I'm not to say I'm actually interested in watching any of, like, this run, but I mean, I don't know whether that's just like, oh, it's not as exciting anymore because you've already seen it on a lower level and it's more unique, whatever.
It's like I've seen Ricochet do that move against somebody very much cooler than Sheamus.
Yeah, but at the same time, I'm happy for the dudes. Yeah, it is. You know, you can't take that away from them. But yeah, it's like I don't know. I'm just getting further away from like actually sort of. Oh yeah, I'm excited for this new fresh face on Raw that I've never seen before. You know,
I think that's a shared sentiment of a lot of wrestling fans where when they get to Raw, we understand and even almost appreciate. By the way, there's Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa out the window. Oh no, that's the other brother.
Bro, they're coming
Right
here.
They're coming here to hang out?
Coming here.
That is fucking-
Jay White's right there, and Chase Owens is right over there.
Amazing. Dude, when you're in New York City or any place during WrestleMania weekend, it's insane.
Right there.
this is the place to
The
be.
people you run into or just see on the streets. Like,
People are just attracted to grown men watch this shit. Let's be serious.
It's spontaneous, but to really go back to what I was saying is, when guys get to the WWE, I think a lot of us share a sentiment where that's the point where they don't necessarily have to kill themselves anymore. They've done that. They're there to make their money, to maybe even, in a strange way, to say phone it in. I want guys to make money and not worry about hurting themselves anymore once they make it to WWE. How do you feel about that, Mr. Kraft?
Yeah, I mean, the only part of me that doesn't want them to go to WWE is the selfish part of me that wants high quality matches. And I think it's because we do know what often happens when they get brought up. But at the same point, you have to see it from the perspective of if WWE programming is going to get better, it is due to superstars changing the way they're they're handling what they're being given. And because you have to take that shit character and you have to put that over. So, like, this is Ricochet's chance.
Wrestling.
Huh?
Is that really a way that people should enjoy wrestling?
They should?
I mean, no, but that's how it's going to happen. Like, a lot of good characters are given shit characters and they make them good.
One thing I think about.
They should fans appreciate that. It's a
No,
shit
that's it.
product.
Sure. So, like, this is Ricochet's opportunity to go
I almost
in
think
and
it's
try to
more
make a
like-
name for himself. And
Not
even if
necessarily
it doesn't work out, his
appreciate
booking
the
fee is going to be higher on the
fact
indies.
that they're presented more that the guys have made it to the point where they don't necessarily have to kill themselves anymore, and we got to see them do that. But no, you're right. It's not necessarily makes the product itself any more viable. It just makes it so the guys that you like are getting to do what they love and make a lot of money.
Yeah.
But not
I gotta
do
watch it.
it.
I gotta watch it in HD now.
Yes.
I'm happy with that. It's just it's funny, like the idea of how we look at it oftentimes, to where it's like people watch it and they have to qualify they're watching a wrestling, and they'd be like, oh well, you know the writing's gonna be shit and the promos are gonna be shit, but at least we'll get this 7-minute match. It's like such ridiculous qualifying.
You know what?
When it should be so much more simple than that, It's like, as a whole, if this product is trash, it's trash,
Yes.
But it just pops me that people get to such a degree of nitpicking, like, oh, well,
I am that guy. I am that guy, Chris. I will watch Raw. I'm like, I love this shit, and it's not good.
It's funny. I was talking to someone the other day who was like, it was the same thing. They're like, they were just amazed at the people that still stick with it, and they watch, every single
I'm an
minute.
apologist. I'll watch it every week. I don't give a fuck.
But it's like, if they've dedicated that much time in their life to this, and then you're then to come along, hey bro, you should watch New Japan, it's way better. It's like they're not going to react positively to that. I've just wasted like 1,000,000 hours of my life. At least acknowledge it.
Yes.
So I think it's fine. Yeah.
It's like Quackenbush says, man. There are many flavors of ice cream for all of us to enjoy, and maybe Ben & Jerry's doesn't want to make the best quality ice cream, but it's still pretty good flavors, and I pop when I see Cherry Garcia. You know what I mean?
It's funny that you guys mentioned guys having their bodies broken down and then they go to WWE, and then I know he's an anomaly, but then you got guys like Jericho who do it the total opposite way, and they're leaving.
Yes.
And he's like regenerating.
Possibly doing some of the best shit he ever did. Yes, that's a very good point.
Yeah.
But that's actually a good thing about the WWE. Like, we see these guys who we may think have maligned themselves to just going through the motions, but when you see them like take an opportunity on themselves and leave, or maybe they get fired and they get an opportunity on themselves, like a Drew McIntyre or a Juice Robinson who left, and who could say enough about Juice at this point?
Right? Now, every time I bring up Juice, I mention how much I used to hate him, and then it's like just how much he's owned it ever since.
And one of the
He's
craziest
not my
things is
favorite, but he's certainly
he's amazing at this point. The match with him and honestly, a match where he lost and he put over Kevin Owens in his debut is the match where I fell in love with Juice. When he put over
Really?
Kevin,
You even liked him when he was still in NXT?
that match specifically.
Why?
Kevin looked like a
Have you watched that
million bucks,
before?
man.
Yeah, he fucked up and then Kenny gave him a receipt. That was all I remember about it.
Dude, the fucking face palm. Do you see that shit?
Yeah.
The Showtime, one of the best I've ever seen in the game. But no, the fact that he got Kevin over so big and he's so big, I loved that version of CJ Parker, the fucking anti-corporation, super uber hippie that Daniel Bryan clearly has ripped off at this point.
Completely.
Yeah.
I think I had the same kind of like disdain for the Juice character presenting like someone that's, you know, environmentally friendly as a heel.
Yeah.
That's the same thing that I have against the Danielson thing now. It's like, it's funny.
Wrestling fans are assholes and they take that as shitty. Oh, you think we're killing our environment and our trees? Well, fuck you.
To me, is it almost like the thing where WWE thinks their fans are like these staunch Republicans, but then most of them are actually the opposite?
Brother, no. The majority of Americans don't necessarily believe in climate change.
That terrifies me. I like to think better of your people, sir.
Well, I appreciate that because I like to think that I've set such a good example that you have cast an amazing opinion over the entire American people because of me.
Because you're such a nice guy.
Yeah, indeed. And I don't put myself over at all.
Never.
I'm not sure if climate change is real or not.
Really? Oh, here is fucking Josh from the outside.
Well, let's be clear here. I'm a free thinker, and so I've heard both sides, and I'm not gonna.
This is outrageous.
I'm not gonna commit to one side or the other until I like. Now I'm open to it. So like, if someone can sit me down and be like, "Here's everything," and I'll look at the evidence and I'll be like, "Okay, absolutely." So I'm not like holding on, being like, "It's a hoax."
Yeah.
I just think everything in life is a work. Everything is wrestling. We're getting worked all the fucking time.
I can appreciate that.
So
I agree.
So I'm always hesitant. Like,
As long as you're not a flat earther, I think we can still chat.
oh man.
Oh, wait. Right here.
I mean, the Earth could be flat.
I think honestly that's the best way to end this. What do you think?
So good. So good.
The World Wrestling Federation is flat. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, is this a fucking news scoop that we've just gotten it? Fucking Youngboy Josh is a flat earther.
Yo, I've had the best time with you guys this week.
Brother,
It's been
it's such
great.
fun to meet you. Honestly, the funniest way I met Josh, and we've been friends on Facebook, but this guy doesn't have a picture of himself as his picture. And I'm not one of those people going to investigate what a motherfucker looks like,
I do.
because that seems weird. But all of a sudden I heard, Jeremey shouted through a room.
I was like, Beak.
Oh, you Beak first? I heard. Did you say my real name?
I said your real name, and I said
Okay. So I started looking around everywhere. I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
That's a beautiful meaning story. As we've had multiple through this trip, right? We met cousin Ben for the first time. I know Jeremy did, John and Ben and I go way back. This was your first time, Josh, meeting Ben, yeah?
Yeah,
No, you met him last time. Yeah.
It's my first time meeting John and Jeremy.
Yeah, so a lot of familial, us that know each other from hearing them across the world on the internet. But I think it's quite nice that we actually get to meet one another in person and have this tender moment that this is. So, I mean, I guess we're finishing this one up. I wanted to make sure to just finish this on the nice moment and emotion that this has. We're like midway through WrestleMania being on a Hooters TV, and I think we've all agreed that we're not actually care for this show enough to go to New Jersey to watch it live, even on like cheap scalper tickets. So we're just going to chill out here in Hooters. We're going to watch the rest of this show, whatever it is. And yeah, we're going to have fun. We're going to enjoy one another's company. And what a great milestone this is from when this podcast started almost a year ago now. That's the fallout from our last WrestleMania trip to going full circle and talking to a bunch of like the dudes, you dudes, who this is like, you're responsible for this shit. So thank you everybody. Thank you John. Thank you Josh.
Thank you, Chris, because now when I go to wrestling shows, there's people that have actually heard of me.
It's famous.
Never happened in my life.
Gentlemen, how about this? 1 year from now, Tampa Bay, let's do it again.
Whoa.
Come to my neck of the woods.
As long as Vince doesn't strangle out the indie scene, I'm down.
Oh, I'm terrified. I can't even think of doing this again right now. We're at like the last day of this insane amount of shows we've been to. Am I going to do it again? I don't know. Thank you, Courtney. Thank you, Courtney's friend Jackie. And thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Jeremy, most of all. You're a great co-host. I appreciate you. I'd wait until you come back, but I think you're over there talking at a table over some beer. I want some of that beer. I'm going to come for that beer. Let me close out this show. Thank you, Social Suplex. At Chris Things on the Twitter and Instagram. At Jaims Vanderbeek on the Twitter and Instagram. We appreciate you. Thank you all for listening. And goodbye.
Don't you know that the bird? Well, everybody knows that the bird is a winner. Well, the bird's a winner.